Episode 9. The Writing Room. Quentin is on the hunt for the missing 6th Fillory book that he received from Eliza. Penny says, "Oh hey, I read that." Penny knows what happened to it because he read it and then he trashed it. Quentin is aghast. How can he want to be a dick more than he wants to be alive? Penny then tries to remember what he read in the book, and he recounts that it was written by Jane. Unlike the first 5 books that were written by Christopher Plover, the 6th one was written from Jane's perspective. And she talks about how Fillory stopped opening up for Martin. So because of this, Jane went to Fillory to try to find a way to get Martin access again. So she ended up tracking down a questing beast, which gives you a wish if you can track it down. She asked it for a way to get into Fillory, and it gave her a button that teleports to Fillory. But Martin never got the button. And based off of what Penny remembers, the button may actually still be at Plover's house. So now the gang is making a plan to go to Plover's house. Elliot has a way to get to England, as him and Margot made a portal to a pub over there. He offers to let them use it on the condition that he gets to come too. After Mike, Elliot really doesn't want to hang around the school and would much rather have something else to take as a distraction. So then we have Quentin, Alice, Penny, and Elliot going to England to locate the missing button. They make it to the house, and then they end up going on a tour in which Quentin cannot stop but interrupting the tour guide every couple of minutes to fact-check him. Since it's a historical site, they aren't able to ruffle through the house as much as they would like and are only allowed to go into certain rooms, so they make the plan to come back later at night after it closes down. When they break in later that night, Elliot finds an interesting letter in the safe. It's a letter from Prudence to the lawyer asking for a falsified death record for Christopher Plover, her brother. Which is odd because, according to official information, Plover died of a heart attack. If that's true, then they wouldn't have needed to have a falsified death certificate. They also find magical books in Plover's writing room, which hints that he is also a magician. Specifically, there are also traveler books, so it seems like he was trying to find a way to also get into Fillory. While they're looking through the house, the tour guide comes back and says, "Hey, you can't be here." When they start to question him about some of the truths that they found in the house, all of a sudden the lights cut out and then he disappears. When the lights come back on, they find him dead on the stairway with his mouth sewn shut. There is a haunting going on in this house. Everybody gets split up and we see a memory of what happened in the past. Besides the Chatwin kids who visited from next door, there also were a couple of the groundskeeper's kids who also lived in the house. Prudence was overly concerned with them distracting Plover's writing when it often drug them and sort of keep them out of the way by tying them up. We also see Jane going into Fillory and Martin being left behind. After Martin gets left behind, we see Plover come up and talk to him, and Martin visibly has discomfort with his presence. When Jane comes back from Fillory with the button, she gives it to Martin, but since Plover has summoned the two of them, Martin gives the button to George, one of the groundskeeper's kids, for safekeeping. Plover starts talking with Martin and Jane, giving them tea to ask questions about Fillory, but then Jane suddenly falls asleep. It seems like her tea was drugged. Plover then prompts Martin to get up so that he can take photos of him, telling him to undress completely. Plover talks to Martin about finding a way to get to Fillory so that they can be together. Some of the magic he's been studying is creating extra limbs so that he can perform more complex magic. Quentin thinks that maybe the beast isn't from Fillory. The entire time we are witnessing this from George's perspective, as he is in a crawl space next door looking into Plover's writing room, where this is all happening. George makes a comment that this happens very oftenly. As George goes to leave the crawl space, he makes a noise and gains the attention of Prudence, who starts beating George and telling him that her brother is a good man. And in her anger of Plover's indiscretions being exposed, accidentally knocks George out too hard, ending his life. After seeing the truths of what went on in Plover's house, they realize that the button probably never left the house and it's probably still in George's pocket, and now they're gonna have to go back inside and dig him up to get it. They're able to dig George's body up and they locate the button. Alice feels really bad because it seems like the kids are caught in a loop of this haunting, of this time moment where they are tortured. But unfortunately, there is no magic that exists to end a haunting. Elliot's response to Alice's concerns is, "Hey, life isn't fair. What makes you think death would be?" Richard brings Julie with him to help a woman out, Kira. She attempted to create a new spell, but it backfired and ended up trapping her inside of her mind. Julia's task is to go inside of her consciousness and speak with her, as now that she has been trapped in her mind, she has been able to figure out the spell, and now she just needs somebody to remember it and write it down so that now it can be completed. Kira can sort of sense that Julia has some reticence about alternative forms of magic. And she tells her that, hey, break bills isn't the end-all be-all for magic, and that there are plenty of brilliant minds and magicians that exist outside of it. After passing along the spell, Kira no longer has anything to live for, as the spell has been her life purpose, and because of the backfiring, she is unable to complete it herself. They end up assisting her in passing away. Back at Break Bills, the gang is looking down at the button. Quentin warns Penny not to touch it because they don't know what'll happen. Penny tells him not to worry because after being trained by Mayakovsky, he feels he is all in control of traveling. He says he's not going anywhere he doesn't want to go. He ends up touching the button, and guess what happens? He disappears.